Steeler fans, you should be doing backflips that you got rid of Antonio Brown, the diva of the league. Now, when the trade came out and everybody was baffled at the fact that they got rid of him for only a third round and a fifth round pick, that was a little bit of baffling myself. I really thought they could have gotten way more for Antonio Brown. And in hindsight, and back then, they probably should have gotten more for Antonio Brown. However, it is looking a little bit more and more like you could have gotten rid of Antonio Brown for a pack of gum and maybe like 50 cents that you found on the hot sidewalk in August in Pittsburgh, and that would have been enough to get rid of him. This is embarrassing for the Raiders organization and Antonio Brown himself, and we'll get into that for a little bit. First, let's definitely talk about Antonio Brown, and then a little bit why I think the Raiders are hypocritical with this situation, okay? Let's remember that Antonio Brown is not playing football right now, not because of his feet. We looked at the first episode of Hard Knocks, and the guy is flying around. He's got his personal trainer out there on some practice field. He's doing drills. While his practice time is limited, he's at least out there and participating physically as much as he can. However, now, apparently, it's not the feet. It's a 10-year-old helmet. Let me repeat that for you. A 10-year-old helmet that he decided is the hill that he wants to die on, that, if he can't get this helmet, that he is going to quit football. I don't know about any other profession in which this is acceptable. I don't know if I would get a job at McDonald's and showed up at a 10-year-old uniform, definitely out of uniform compared to everybody else. That was acceptable. It wouldn't be. And the NFL has good reason for this, okay? First, concussion protocol has been by far the biggest scrutiny of football as a whole. Everybody wants the game to be safer. It's a very serious issue. At the collegiate level, you see this targeting rule coming out, and some people like it and some people hate it. I do think it's a good thing for football as a whole. And you see the NFL coming out with all these innovations and equipment, rules, and, it makes sense that you would have these kind of rules in place for colliding human missiles to make it as safe as possible. The league has been in lawsuits out the ass over this situation. So it just makes sense that they would like Antonio Brown, one of their prevalent stars, to not have CTE as much because they want him in a safer helmet, in a more modern helmet. He actually got on the phone for 2 hours with NFL officials trying to plead his case and why he should be allowed to wear his 10-year-old helmet. Are you joking with me right now? Are you joking with me, bro? Let's think about this. He could have spent those 2 hours training, studying film, bettering himself for the Raiders organization. He could have spent those 2 hours at the local academy store trying to find a safer helmet. No, he could have spent it with his family. The point is, he wasted 2 hours of a case that's looking less and less likely that he's going to win. The point is, he's not playing football, and the Raiders are missing one of their star wide receivers. But let's talk a little bit why this looks embarrassing for the Raiders organization. And I will be kind of careful here because I know that Ollie and Antonio Brown are way different players talent-wise. One's an undrafted rookie, and the other is by all means an NFL star. But it doesn't look good for John when you are so adamant and so quick on the decision process for taking a kid out who, we'll take his word for it, is injured.
You know what? Let's get some of these guys out of here that don't want to play.
Yes, I know he didn't do himself any favor, but just to cut him like that, not even thinking about it, because guess what? He's not contributing to the Raiders organization, and yet we bring in Antonio Brown, who is having 2-hour calls over to the NFL officials for not having a proper helmet. And the Raiders have sent Antonio Brown different helmets in which he could use and all this other stuff. And yet, for some reason, he gets a pass. Like, it's no big deal to the Raiders. I get why you cut Ollie. But the way it seemed in Hard Knocks, and look, maybe we don't have all the information from behind the scenes, but the way it seemed in Hard Knocks was a very quick decision made on the mood of the head coach. Whether that's right or wrong, you got to be consistent across the board in order to run a big team. This is why I think Mike Tomlin had a big issue controlling the locker room in Steelers. Go look at Urinating Tree's video on that in the Steeler way. He does a perfect job with that. And I think it's true on any organization in any level of league, NFL, pro, collegiate, high school. You got to be consistent across the board, and the Raiders should definitely come down hard on Antonio Brown, at least making fines for missing training camp. I don't know what what in the contract and what the rules they're going to do or what they can do, but it does seem like they need to jump on the horse early in order to deter more issues with Antonio Brown later on. However, they kind of didn't know what they signed up for. So you live by the sword, you die by the sword, or you live by the diva, you die with the diva on your team. And that should be interesting to see how this develops. But hey, like John said,
there's a new league forming. If you guys want to go knock the shit out of each other, they pay $800 a week. Yeah.
I'm good getting paid here.
Yeah, I think I'm all right, Coach.
I would guarantee you they'd let you wear your old helmet, Antonio Brown. So until next time, this is the Traveling Poke. I'll see you later.